is Commissioner Frank Avila, and I am the Commissioner at the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago. And today the name of our show is Karteros, Future City, and it's going to be presented by St. Paul of the Cross School in Park Ridge, Illinois. And we are going to celebrate the National Engineering Week Future City competition. The annual National Engineering Week Future City competition, now in its 16th year, focus attention on the extraordinary potentials of 12 to 14-year-old girls and boys to become America's next great scientists, inventors, and engineers. The competition requires participation students to use their creativity, ingenuity, and above all their knowledge of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics to perform six specific projects, the most exciting of which is to construct a scale model of a city as it might exist at least 100 years from now. Not a pie-in-the-sky fairyland, but a real future city that uses students' vision, scientific and technological breakthrough to meet its citizen needs. And St. Paul of the Cross was one of the top 5 schools in the Chicagoland area to participate in the Future City. And we're going to have presenting the project with us today. We're going to have Lisa, we're going to have Nor, we're going to have Jake, and we're going to have Christopher and Austin. And right now we're going to have Christopher introduce the project.
Thank you, Commissioner of Avila, for inviting us on your show. Our Future City team from St. Paul of the Cross School in Park Ridge consists of 6 students: Lisa, Jake, Nor, Austin, Dever, who cannot be here at this time, and myself, Christopher.
We would like to thank our 2 engineer mentors at the time, Mr. Spagnolo and Mr. Zimmerman, who could not be here. We would also like to thank our 2 sponsors, Mrs. Moran and Mrs. Stipka. We placed 4th overall in the Chicagoland region, and we won many special awards, such as Best Future City Promotion,
Most Innovative Structure,
Best Verbal Presentation,
Best Computer Model,
Best City Model.
Our city is named Karteros, from wasteland to waterland, and I'm going to turn it over to Lisa, who's going to talk about our city.
Can humans repopulate a nuclear wasteland? And can nuclear radiation be reversed using nanobots? These are the questions that engineers faced while they were creating the city of Karteros. The name Karteros means mighty in Greek. Karteros is located on the island of Novaya Zemlya in the Arctic Circle. The Matochkin Strait is running through the city of Karteros. It was originally salt water, but was desalinated using nanobots. As a nanotechnology leader of the world, Karteros uses nanotechnology in every aspect of life, for big projects such as monitoring and cleaning up radiation and in water treatment, and in small projects such as sanitizing common surfaces. Parks and museums are plentiful throughout the city of Karteros. Reindeer, a native species to Novaya Zemlya, are allowed to freely roam the city. Karteros is a dome city. The dome is made of a photovoltaic membrane which captures sunlight, which is used as both an energy source and to simulate fake sunlight during the 7 months of darkness. The dome protects the city against weather and radiation. Goods and people enter and exit the dome through titanium sliding doors, and air passes through purifying vents with nanobots. The transportation throughout the dome are hover cars, magnetically elevated trains and subways, a bridge with a magnetic force field, jets that run off of carbon dioxide, and ships and subs made out of the toughest titanium. Karteros is the perfect example of how mighty nanotechnology is. Now I shall turn it over to Jake, who will tell you the statistics of the city.
Alright. Karteros, right here, is in the year 2284, and we have a population of 790,832 people. We have low tax rates, of a residential tax rate of 6%, an industrial tax rate of 3%, and a commercial tax rate of 5%. We have a high life expectancy of 89 years old and a very high education level. We have unemployment level of a mere 1%. Karteros is a green city by having only 5% of pollution level, and we have only 8% of a crime level. We have some buildings of recreation include our Space Center. We have a Major League Stadium, a casino, and a country club. We started our city with residential and industrial on this side of the strait because people need places to work. And as our city grew, we expanded over our strait to include our sea and airports. Our city encompasses 5 fusion power plants, which is our main power source. One is shown here in our model. Our city is also home to a large science and research center, seen on our map. And another main aspect of is our state-of-the-art water treatment and desalination plants, which Noah will talk more about.
Thank you. Of the many innovative systems in Karteros that use nanotechnology, perhaps one of the most innovative and the one that was the most substantially improved was the water system. Every living thing on Earth needs water to survive. People need water to drink, grow crops for food, operate factories, and for swimming, fishing, and controlling the humidity in a controlled dome environment like this one. By implementing nanotechnology, Karteros' engineers protected the population from disease and contamination. Such contaminants in the water include arsenic, chlorine, fluoride, and salt. In the year 2000, when Karteros was founded, we analyzed conventional methods of water treatment at the Stickney Water Plant in Chicago, Illinois. At the time, water treatment was primarily conducted using filters, screens, and microbiological bacterial treatment. Now, however, our primary form of water treatment uses nanotechnology. As I mentioned before, our strait is salt water, and we get rid of the salt using this process. The water is sucked from here into our desalination plants. The salt is removed and sent to our salt manufacturing plants, and our salt is exported throughout the world. Then the purified water is sent back into the strait. Our nanotechnology system works as follows. When nanosensors in the water supply detect an increased level of a certain contaminant, a message is sent wirelessly to the engineer of the nearest water plant. Next, a group of nanobots goes to the specific area where the contamination is and cleans it up. Thank you.
Hi, I'm going to talk about the constructing materials and why we use them for our city. These are our desalination plants right here, and they were formerly Christmas ornaments, but we chose them for our design in our future city. This was actually a slinky, just painted red, and it's our maglev transportation system, in which a car or other transportation vehicle is suspended through it magnetically. This spiral design right here connects these three cardboard tube buildings for industrial use. These pine cones represent a clean ecosystem like living, in which it is very organic. This is our science system, made from this small lava lamp and these other pinkish parts around here. And these are our salt manufacturing plants. These were actually ping pongs, and they're chosen for their shapes to show the process of the filtering of the salt. And this was our fusion power plant, and you can see why we chose the wires, because it looks well, very kind of like it would make like power. And yeah, that's pretty much our city. And I'm going to turn it over to Commissioner. We learned a lot while doing this project, and we hope we continue it through our school. Thank you for listening, and do you have any questions?
Oh, yes. First, I'd like to mention to the audience that the Future City competition serves students in the 7th and 8th grade. It's sponsored by the National Engineering Week, and it's held every February, every year. And this national program introduces students to engineering with the popular SimCity software. Students design future cities with simulation software, build scale models, write essays, and give oral presentation on the city design, as you just heard, and you just saw the scale models. And the benefits for the students. What are the benefits for the students? The students a better understanding practical application of math, science, social studies, and computer learning as they plan their own cities. And they also have fun working with SimCity software, and it's provided free to registered schools. And team works with engineers assigned to support their learning. On this project, you had 2 teachers and 1 mentor. While learning about cities, students develop a project plan, work in teams. They write an essay about their city, and as I mentioned, they develop a scale model with recycled material and makes an oral presentation. Now I'm gonna, and St. Paul Lacrosse was one of the top 5 schools winning the award, and I'm gonna ask them some questions that were asked to them during the competition. And the first question, since they built the city, Karteros, the question is, if you were going to live in your future city you built, where would you want to live and why? Who would like to answer that?
I will.
Okay.
Well, I think I'd like to live in the Pinecone area, the residential area, not only because it's on the shore of the strait, but it's also close to the university, to the commercial and industrial areas, so I can go to work, I can go shop, and it's also next to a group of parks for recreation, so I think that's where I'd want to live probably.
That's excellent, because they designed their city for using less transportation. They designed a city where they are going to live, where they have all the amenities that they like. And Norm likes the university, likes the parks. So that's good. Now, here's another question that was asked during the competition. When you built your scale model, what were the intermediate steps you took between the computer design model and the actual section you built? Like the answer?
I guess I will.
Okay.
As we created the computer model, we took a picture of the place we thought was best, which is what we did the model of. We picked one with the university, the strait, and a bridge, and both the industrial and residential. And that was the center of the city that had everything of the city inside of it. And that was the one we thought would both best represent the city.
And you know, the name of your city is what? Karteros? Why did you pick that name?
We picked the name because we knew our city was mighty by how we built it and stuff. And in Greek, Karteros means mighty. So that's why we picked our name.
You know, I think I'm going to get a plane and go move this, because you mentioned during your introduction that a person lives till 98 years old. I mean, that's great. That's good. Yeah. And now, for example, did you build directly from the computer? Because they give you a computer program to use.
Yes.
And or use a printout or lay out a schematic directly on the base, or how did you? What did you use?
Well, like we took a picture of the part of the SimCity game, our model on the computer. We took a picture of what part incorporated most of our things that we have in our city, and we have a picture on one of the boards here, which part, and that's how we decided to build it. And we have a scale 1 to 30, I think.
And because the project had a certain scale.
Yes.
Yes.
And the software that you used was provided free to do your project. And every school that participated in this contest had that same software. Now, did all your engineering or team members work on the aspect of the project, or did you split into subgroups?
I'll answer that.
Okay.
Well, at the beginning of the project, back in September, we assigned well, we could say captains to each part of the project, such as the physical model, the computer model. I personally was in charge of the essay, Lisa the abstract, Noah the computer model, Jake the physical model, and Chris the accounting part of the project, like having to do with numbers and such.
So you have 5 teams then?
Yeah, teams, captains.
Team captains.
Yes. So yeah, then we, so each of the captains would be kind of like in control of the group, not doing all the work, but kind of like assigning jobs to each person. So.
Now, besides 6 team members, did you have any other students in the school help you? Or basically, this was the team, 6?
This was the team. The 6 of us all worked together to get this done.
Now, are all you in 7th and 8th grade, or part 7 and part 8? Who's in 8th grade? You had 3 8th graders and 2 7th graders.
4, including the one who wasn't able to be here today.
And so you participate as a team member. Now, you gave examples of separate projects. Can each one of you explain your role in the project? Is that possible?
Yes. Like I said, I had the essay part of the project, and the essay was it was kind of long. It was about like I'd say a page and a half. It was a certain number of words, and so then what I'd do, we'd kind of get like an outline for the essay. We'd start writing parts. Each person would be in charge of kind of like getting certain information and kind of compiling it together to fit our essay criteria. So.
Yeah, because part of the judging is the student had to be judged on essay, and so that was a part of the program, and I see here that you received an award, right? And this award was Best Future City Promotion.
Yes.
And this presented to you at the University of Illinois at Chicago, January 26, 2008. And it was presented by the Society for Marketing Professional Services. That's excellent. Could you explain your role in the project?
Well, I'm the accountant.
Very important.
Accounting. I was just supposed to keep up with like our budget. That's all I mostly had to do was make sure that we had it inside our budget line.
And you had to provide all recycled material for your project.
Well, we all mostly contributed to it.
Oh, and Lisa, what could you explain your role?
Well, I was in charge of the abstract, which was a basic overview, written overview of the entire project that we did. Included basic aspects of the city, how we used nanotechnology in our city lives. And my job as the leader of the abstract was to, well, we all brainstormed together. Then at home, I put that all together into kind of a written form. Then I came back and we all talked about it together and what we thought was good, what we thought was bad, and we edited it together.
Now, did the essay have to have a certain number of words?
Yes.
How many words?
I think it was 200. 200
words, and each one contribute to that 200 words. That was hard to do, to bring it down to 200 words. Right. And Norma, what was your role?
Well, I was in charge of the computer model.
First, I want to ask a question. The project, Karteros, the Future City, you were using nanoscale technology.
Right.
Can you explain to the audience what is nanoscale technology?
Well, if something is at the nanoscale, that means it's so small that if you took a thread of your hair and you split it 50 times, that would be a nanometer. So that's as you can imagine, that's incredibly small.
And it's so small now that this all of our products coming out right now are using nanotechnology.
Right.
And so our future city that you are going to live in, I hope I'm going to live in because I'm going to move to Karteros so I can live till 89 years old. But all the products are going to use nanotechnology. Mm-hmm. And this is why the kids are going to save the planet, because they are going to know all the new technology on how to have drinking water from salt, produce our drinking water, wastewater, and give us a good environment that we don't have much pollution here on the planet. Now, could you explain your role?
Yes, me and Dever, who couldn't be here, we were the captains for the actual physical model, which is that. We had to make sure, like, to put everything together and make sure it got done and stuff, and to like make it as close as possible to the picture that we took from our computer model.
And the scale also, because
Yeah.
you had to maintain that scale. And you mentioned that you started in September, and the competition was in February, right? So that's September, October, November, December, January, about 5 months. It took time out of your watching TV, going to movies, right? Or did you spend a lot of time?
We spent a lot of time on it. We had to come over the weekends too to get it done, but it was a lot of fun.
Sure.
It was a lot of fun.
Now, you know, on the explain how your team used nanotechnology to monitor city structures and systems by identifying the monitoring infrastructure. Can anyone answer that question? You know, you monitor the infrastructure. It could be in the building using that nanotechnology on temperature. Or
Right. As Lisa mentioned in her speech, nanotechnology was implemented in even the smallest things. So as you mentioned, say it would be on the streets. So if there's a crack or a pothole or something of the sort, the nanobots would come and repair it. If on door handles, the nanobots would keep the door handles sanitized. Buildings, they would sense temperature. Everything would be under control. And,
now, on the sensing system, that's excellent, because I think that's how our future cities are going to start developing, because anything that's going to occur or problems, we're going to use that nanotechnology to detect anything that's going to have to be fixed or adjust out there. Now, these questions that I first asked the students were mandatory questions about their project. And so I have also other sample questions that were presented to them at the University of Illinois during the judging time. Now, one of the questions was, when conceiving your city, were you open to creative and possible and practical ideas, or did you focus on what you knew was possible?
Well, we took in all ideas. We all got together and we all brainstormed about ideas, and any idea that seemed impractical right now, we would find a way that nanotechnology could make it possible in the future.
Now, did you get a lot of help from your teachers and your mentor? Because I know you had 2 teachers and you had 1 mentor. What role did they play in your decision making?
Well, they explained to us like how different things work and stuff. And, how nanotechnology could be implemented with our city.
Yes, and you know, and part of being participating in this project is that each school probably had a mentor helping them along, because what you did in your future city is the newest technology out there, nanoscale, and that's why the National Engineering Foundation, or whoever was in charge here in the Chicagoland area, probably found mentors to come and help each school, and you were very fortunate to have a person by the name of Phil to come and help you. Correct? Phil probably spent a lot of time with you.
Yes.
Huh?
We had 2 helpers, 2 engineers. Mr. Zimmerman was another one.
Oh.
That we had help us too.
Excellent. Now, what makes your city stands out from other future cities?
Our future city, I think, stands out because we didn't take someplace that was mostly already populated. We took someplace that couldn't really be populated right now, and so that might have helped it stand out.
Sure, because the location you picked was where now?
Novaya Zemlya.
Yeah, Novaya Zemlya, right? And it didn't have what drinking water, so you had to design a system for drinking water, correct?
Yes.
You had a design system for using wastewater, right? You had to design energy, right? And you had to design your city, what? Providing what? Educational, industry, and living, right? You took all that into account in your city. Another question that was asked, explain fantasy or reality, better describe your future city.
I'd say reality, because all the technology that was used in our city perhaps wasn't fully developed now, but was either in production now or being researched. So I think by the year 2150, when our city was made, what is right now, then I think those technologies will be further developed and ready to be implemented as we implemented them in the city.
Now, you're working as a team. You had 6 members, right? 3 from the 8th grade and 3 from the 7th grade?
4 from the 8th grade, 2 from 7th grade.
Okay, 7th and 8th graders. Is Future City team best composed of similar thinking members, or does disagreement plays a role in formulating and refining ideas? I mean, you guys met, right? And you probably never had any discussion or argument. Everyone agreed on their own points.
We did have some discussion. One major thing was the casino on whether to have it, and we decided that it was good because it brought in tourism and it got us money for our city so we could build more. And then we had discussions and other things, but we came together with our ideas and we all decided which idea was the best one to use for our city. Yeah.
Well, that's good that you had discussion, because I've been married now for about 43, 44 years, and I haven't had any arguments, only discussions. And I'm glad that 6 years in the 5 months never had any arguments, but discussions to critique and come up with a good idea. That's excellent. Now, let's say that how did you work out the problem if one of you came up with a terrible idea?
Well, I don't think any idea is a terrible idea.
No?
Because even if you classify an idea as terrible, in the end it might lead to an idea that would help your city. So, yeah, all ideas are valid.
That's good. Doing your research, do you all have a computer at home that you were looking up on the internet and just put in a search word and that's how you got your information?
Yeah, we all went home and we all searched on nanotechnology and water filtration. We also went to the Stickney water plant to learn more about the water desalination plant and filtration.
Yes.
But we went home and we researched on nanotechnology and different aspects which could make a city grow.
Well, that's excellent, because water is very important, correct? I mean, why do you think water is important?
We need water to live. I mean,
you're right.
Most of the big cities are near big source of water, because you can use that to trade goods and to ship goods to other big cities near the water.
Sure, and water is so important. You live in Park Ridge. You go to school, St. Paul of the Cross in Park Ridge, Illinois, and we're right next door to Lake Michigan, right? And of all the surface water in the world, 1% is good for drinking water. 1%, and 18% of that 1% is here in the Great Lakes. 18%, 90% of all the surface water in the United States, 90% is right here in the Great Lakes. And they tell me, and I haven't tried it yet, and I don't think I will, they tell me that you can live without food for about 30 days, but without water, how long do you think you live without water? About 3 days. Water is very precious. And wastewater, you mentioned wastewater. You went to the Stickney plant. That's the largest wastewater plant in the world. And we have people from all over the world coming and visit Stickney plant. I'm glad you came and visit our sewage treatment plant, Stickney, the largest plant in the world. Now, what process did you use for dividing the tasks efficiently? Because you mentioned you use did each of you pick that task, or was that the only one left that you could choose?
Yeah, because in the beginning, our mentors kind of asked for volunteers for certain aspects of our project. So, like I said, I volunteered for the essay. He's really good with computers. He volunteered for the computer
Oh, that's
part.
good.
Yeah, and Jake and Deborah, they're kind of like handyman, so
Yeah.
they volunteered for that part. So, yes, and whatever was left over was given to the excess members.
I see. Well, that's good because you know in our society, if we have one person going to do one thing, I don't think we could develop a future city. So we need different talents.
Yes.
And here you had 6 people, 6 students, 7th and 8th graders from St. Paul across with different talents designing the future city, and that's what it takes. It takes what? It takes to do a future city. It takes what? It takes an engineer, architects, mechanical. You know, in engineering, there's so many different types of engineers: electrical, civil, mechanical. I mean, you consider a casino there. The only thing, how come you didn't put St. Paul across here?
Well, we do have many schools.
Yeah, many schools. Yeah.
I don't know.
The school must be named St. Paul the Cross, the school and church, right?
Yeah.
And you mentioned your field trips, right? You did field trips, Stickney plant. Did you go to any other locations on your field trip?
The only place we did go was Stickney, but we
Stickney.
learned a lot about water treatment and filtration.
Oh yes, the largest plant. You learn a lot there. Now, who could identify the different types of engineering employed in your city, and explain which one is most critical to the operation? Could anyone explain that?
As you said, there are many different types of engineering.
Yes.
There's civil and biological and chemical, and I think most forms of engineering were implemented. For example, in the water filtration, you would implement chemical. You'd implement obviously mechanical for the nanotechnology. And the architect, at least design of the buildings internally, and to make them work, and the entire city. I mean, civil engineering, mechanical engineering, all forms of engineering, I think, were very important in forming the city.
Yes. Now, on your city here, explain one part of your city that depends more on engineering for day-to-day operation.
Definitely the water.
The water, because you had to what? Take out the salt, right? Because the location that you picked didn't have much fresh water, and you had the ocean right there, right? And so and that has salt water. So that I like that idea. Now, on your city environment, how did it impact your city system?
We're in a dome city, and we try to make our city as eco-friendly and like relative to the surrounding environment by using our pine cone residential buildings, and like we have the filtration, the air filtration between our dome and the outside, so any air that's coming in or leaving is filtered.
That's
So,
excellent.
yeah.
That's good. Now, did the environment of your city dictate, create a solution for growth? Well, you have your dome, the environment there.
Yeah.
So let's say for growth, how would it grow? Would you enlarge that dome, or would you just?
Well, there's plenty of room in Novia Zemlya, and I'm sure we can make another dome and connect them and keep on heading like that.
Excellent. Now, on the construction material, how do construction material and good efficiently and with minimum environment impact reach a site in your city? Like to answer that? Anyone? There. What kind of construction material do you have here? You mentioned your pine cones, right?
Yes.
That's environmental friendly. What else do you have on your material that you use?
Well, in our model or the
Yeah,
build
the model. Explain your model.
well, we have cardboard. Most of it is recycled. We have like the cardboard tubes for our commercial area. We have tinfoil and clear wrap for that also. And most of it is all recycled materials that are used creatively to form buildings and yes, build.
And so you were one of the person building it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, how long did it take?
Quite a while. We had first like planned out how we were going to build it and
Yeah.
what materials we had to use, and then once we got our ideas flowing, sort of came natural from there.
That's excellent. Now, on the energy, what alternate energy source you employed in your city design?
On our dome, there is photocells, which get energy from the sun, and also at the top of our commercial buildings, we have solar cells, and we have 5 fusion power plants, which uses energy exactly like the sun would, and that is our main power source.
And that's good because the problem that we're having nowadays is what a fossil fuel,
Yes.
right? That's creating they say it's creating our climate change, and here you took care of that here in your Karteros, future city. Now, what would you say was your biggest engineering design challenge to solve in this project?
The water filtration system.
Water filtration system?
Yeah, most definitely. Because as I said in my presentation, we have to not only filter the contaminants such as arsenic and chlorine and fluoride, but there was also salt in the water, so we have to get rid of that. So, and I think the nanotechnology helped a lot, and that most definitely is the biggest engineering challenge.
Yes, because we have the challenge nowadays on solving that problem. Now, do you think you'll participate again next year, or you think your 2 teachers and your mentor need a 5-year vacation from this project?
Well,
I mean, the 7th graders, right? Because the 8th graders, I hope you guys are going to graduate and then go on to high school.
yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes, we're definitely doing this again next year. I know I'm joining.
Yeah.
Chris is questionable. He's still
Chris
deciding.
That would take a lot of work, huh, Chris?
Yes,
Yes.
it does. So
Yeah.
next year, when the 6th grade becomes the 7th grade, I have to lead them and give them experienced lessons and guide them along.
Yeah, and then, what could you tell the other schools that might want to participate in this project on their expectation, or maybe they're unaware of the amount of work involved? Could you explain that to the audience, to the 7th and 8th graders that might be doing it next year?
Yes, well, mainly it takes a lot of work, a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of effort. But after all is said and done, I think it's very rewarding and beneficial, and you'll learn a lot, and it's fun. So it's a lot of work, but I think it's worth it.
Yeah, because the Future City competition is sponsored by the National Engineering Week Foundation, and it's held every February, and it appears that you have to sign up in September. And if any school out there that wants to participate in this project, they could look on their web and download all the information and send in the application. Because you're very fortunate that you had teachers that heard about it. Is this your first time in this competition at the school? St. Paul
This is our 2nd time.
Oh, so a 2nd time.
Yes.
Oh, well, your teachers are experienced now. Maybe that's why they like it. They don't have anything else to do from September to February and spend all their time on this project. I give them credit there. But what else can you say about your project, or about giving any other advice to the schools besides what Lisa said or Norm said? Sure.
It's very fun to do. You learn a lot, and it is very rewarding, and it's just fun to get together and to think about the same things and think of new ways, like where we could advance our technology today, but like in a model and compete with other schools. It was fun to go to the competition and see how the other schools built their models and how we could have changed it, or what was like different between it and stuff. It was very fun.
Yeah, I think that's the key, what you said about going to the competition and seeing what other schools did, and the ideas on what they had, and how to improve it next time. Because I think the next time you may be number one, and because the team that becomes number one, you were in the top 5. Okay, I like to say that the team that became number one, they went to Washington D.C. and to compete nationally in Washington D.C. But I'm going to bring up the 2 teachers and the mentor, and they're going to talk about how they love to do it again next year, because they have a lot of time from September to February to do their future city.
The earth is my home, I promise to keep it healthy and beautiful. I will love the land, the air, the water, and all living creatures.
I have the 2 teachers and the mentor here. And one of the teachers, her name is Christine. Christine, wave your hand. So, what grade do you teach?
I teach 7th and 8th grade science, life science for 7th grade, and physical science for 8th grade.
And our other teacher is Lori. Lori, what grade do you teach?
Actually, I teach kindergarten through 8th grade computer.
Oh, kindergarten through 8th grade computers. Oh, the kids, the kindergartens are learning good.
Yeah.
And then we have one of our mentors, Phil. And Phil, what's your background, Phil?
I'm a professional engineer, mechanical engineer. I'm practicing engineering now since 1988. It's just over 20 years.
20 years. And you're a professional engineer?
Professional engineer.
And what school did you go to?
I graduated from Illinois Institute of Technology here in Chicago, and started working for a large architecture engineering firm here in the city for approximately 20 years, and then I moved on to another firm.
And what made you take up mechanical engineering?
I always had a mechanical insight as a kid. Like to take items apart, figure out how they worked, put them back together, and try to create new items from old items.
Well, I'm glad that you're the mentor for St. Paul of the Cross, because maybe the teachers didn't need a mentor.
Oh, no, we needed a mentor.
You needed a mentor?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, this is your second time in the Future City competition. What made you join the first time?
Actually, I was inspired by the school that my son was at the time. His teacher at the time got kids interested in future cities, and the second year that they did their team, again, my son was on the team. And then so I saw firsthand how the competition ran, but only as a parent.
Yes.
But I wanted to do the same thing with St. Paul of the Cross as a teacher. I didn't realize how much work it actually is as a teacher, but it was tons and tons of fun.
Well, St. Paul of the Cross in Park Ridge is very fortunate to have Christine as one of their teachers.
Thank you.
And now Lori, what's your excuse for joining in this group here?
Well, basically it starts off with SimCity, which is a computer program, and Chris asked me if I would like to join in, and I said sure. And it's like she said, a lot of work, but a lot of fun.
Now, Slim City, right? S-L-I-M?
Sim.
SimCity.
Yeah.
Is that an easy program for the kids to learn?
What do you guys think?
Yes.
What do you think? Somewhat?
Yes.
It definitely took us a while to get the hang of it. I think a lot of our best brainstorming sessions occurred when we were designing the city. How many did we go through? There was a few.
Two.
Yeah.
Last year we went through a few more, but last year we had kids working more on their individual computers.
Yes.
This year we decided to make use of the smart board that we had,
Smart
so
board?
that we could all see the city very large.
And the smart board, what's a smart board?
That's technology where you have a interactive whiteboard. Smartboard is the brand name, and you can control the computer from the smartboard. So we would have a big computer screen basically in front of us where we could move things around and
Oversized
discuss.
touch screen.
Oh,
Yeah.
So then if a new school wants to participate in Future City, a smart board will help them understand the computer program, and
I think it would make it more accessible.
It would make
Yeah.
it easier for everyone to sit around and discuss more as a team. But it's not necessary. I mean, we did it last year without using a smart board at all, and a lot of schools don't have smart boards. So, we were just fortunate to realize, why aren't we using this, and decided to use it.
and Phil, what made you become a mentor in this project? You had a lot of time on your hands.
I had very little time on my hands. My counterpart, John Zimmerman, who can't be here today, contacted me back in 2006. He had 12 students sign up for the program, and by the rules of the Future City competition, you need one mentor for every 6 students.
One mentor for every 6
So
students.
John was the sole mentor at the time, and he needed an additional mentor. And knowing John from the neighborhood and high school, he contacted me and asked me if I would volunteer for the exercise, at which time I was more than willing to help out St. Paul at the Cross. And John and Christine and Lorene on this very important project.
Well, that's excellent. Christine, can you, if there's a school out there, a grammar school, that wants to participate, what help can you give them in preparing for this type of project? And deciding if they want to go into the project?
Well, in deciding, I would say that if they would contact Don Whitmer, who was the regional chairperson of this competition.
And that's there in the Chicagoland area.
Yes.
And each state has this Future City.
Right. Well, I don't know. They don't have it in every state,
No?
but they have it in a lot of places.
A lot of places.
A lot of places.
And that's why it's done during Engineering Week
Right.
in February.
Right. And Don Whitmer was really helpful. He met with me one-on-one, basically, as it turned out, to give me ins and outs of working the project with the kids. Plus, they give you a lot of support materials. They give you DVD to show the kids. They give you the manuals. They give you, you can call at any time with any questions. And then for me, having seen the competition once, I would say if people knew about it, if they saw an actual competition, before they actually became involved, it would really inspire them. That's partly why, because of my son, having seen everything, is why I wanted to sponsor a team.
And Don Whitmer is in charge of the Chicagoland area
Yes.
here, and he works for HNTB.
Yes.
And I think he's a civil engineer.
He is.
Yes.
And the handbook, the teacher handbook, you have to send in your application. And if once approved, they give you this handbook, and it's called the Teacher's Handbook, Official Rules and Guide, and it has everything what one should do for this competition.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a little overwhelming to
Overwhelming?
look at. But once you get into it, you realize everything you would ever want to know is in that manual.
Yeah, because Lisa mentioned that you have to write an essay. It explains what the
Right.
essay.
Right.
It depends on. It explains the computer software here. Complains the scale, what kind of city, or what type of city you wanted to
Right.
do. And you chose nanotechnology.
Well, nanotechnology was the topic.
theme?
Yeah.
Yes.
Every year there is a different theme. This year it was nanotechnology. The year before it was fuel cells.
Fuel cells.
So they're touching on topics that are very cutting edge, so to speak. And as a result, some of our research is extremely current. It's very exciting, yes.
And you know why it's so important for the grammar school to participate in this type of program, the Future City, because who's going to save the future?
Exactly.
I mean, it's not going to be me. I mean, at my age, that's why I'm going to move to your new Future City. I mean, what's expect to see life there? 89 years old. Maybe I'll go there. Maybe increase.
That's just the average.
Yeah, it's just the average. Okay? So that and so this handbook helps the teachers. And does this help the mentors also, Phil?
It did. It assisted us. We took a different approach to the program this year in that we assigned captains, both John and myself. We narrowed the team down to one team rather than two teams this year.
One team?
We had a team of 6 students, 3 which were nominated as presenters. The other 3 were associates to work with the presenters. And we assigned each of the 6 students a task that they were the captain of. It was their responsibility to coordinate with the other 5 members all the help that they needed for their given task. For instance, the physical model, it was up to Jacob and Deborah, who could not be here today, to round up the other 4 students and gather the materials necessary and strategize as to how they were going to build a physical model.
And the scale. What's the scale here?
1 to 20.
1 to 20. Oh, and that was hard to maintain, correct? 1 to 20? Well, sure, because you're. And what grade are you in?
I'm in
8th grade, and you're an 8th grader. And you had 2, Deborah and you made a Future City on a scale of 1 to 20. I mean, this is hard to do, and it takes a lot of time. I'll bet you your parents didn't get involved, right?
No, just make sure I got there.
Yeah, just got there. That's excellent. There. And you mentioned how many kids were there last year out of this team?
Out of this team, there was Austin, there was Noor, Dever, who's not here today, and Jake in spirit because he really wanted to, but he got interested a little bit too late to actually join the actual group.
That's good.
But he really wanted to.
And comparing last year to this year, was this year more fun? Yeah, was the kids that were in there last year, Norm?
Well, yeah, I think it definitely was more fun because last year, as Mrs. Stipka, Mrs. Moran said, we really didn't know much of what we were doing. So, but this year we were far more experienced, and I think we could really focus on more things rather than last year. We were really learning rather than actually carrying out the tasks well.
Now, who else was there last year?
I was.
How compare last year to this year?
I think it was actually really exciting and fun to actually get in the top 5 and winning all these special awards here.
And you're Austin, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Austin the second time. So you liked it this time around?
Yeah, very much.
And did you improve on that software program on the second time?
Yeah, we got individual copies, so we could actually take it home and work on it. So.
Oh, that's good. And they give you free that software. The rate of software is given free. Now there was a third person, right? Or was that it from here, from twice?
Yeah, Dever's not here today. So
Okay.
he was also.
And so who's in 8th grade now? I mean, who's in 7th grade? You're going to go on the next. Lisa, you're going to go on next time. So you'll know that software.
Yes.
So you'll be the main person, probably teaching whoever wants to participate. Do you feel that students at St. Paul's across in the 7th and 8th grade more might want to participate?
I think they will because they'll be inspired by the kids that they've seen do the work. The model's been on display ever since January in the school.
In the school.
And it was at open house, and it's been on display in the computer classroom, so everybody comes in the computer classroom and sees it. Plus the kids, I think they've just been amazed by what these kids could accomplish.
Now, did your parents have any influence on you in joining this team? Any parents had any influence, or you just decided on your own?
Well, for me, my mom last year, she thought it was a club for everybody, for every grade. She's like, "Oh, you should join there." And then my older brother's like, "It's only for 7th and 8th." So this year I joined it because I wanted to be like an architect, and I thought this would help me out, help experience like that.
Well, sure, that's excellent, because you know, in education now, right, Phil? When I graduated in '61, I had a Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering at Champaign, and we had our slide rules. And now you're on the computer all the time, and so see how our world is changing, and this technology is changing an awful lot, right?
I also
Laura?
think it's a very good program for the kids to expose them to engineering, to get them a little bit better grasp of what engineering is. And we were helped so much by our two mentors that I think they have inspired our children here. So.
Yeah, because you know, as I mentioned, who's going to save the world, kids? You guys are, right? And you know, and there's an awful lot of engineers and different types of engineers, right, Phil?
Correct.
I mean, not only mechanical or civil mechanical. I mean, bioengineering. I mean, biomedical. I mean, every facet that you could think of, and the most newest technology out on the street, Phil, is what? Nanotechnology.
Nanotechnology.
And where's nanotechnology being applied to, Phil? Do you know?
We use it quite a bit in a lot of the infrastructure systems in buildings, mechanical control systems, lighting control systems, fire alarm systems. Essentially any type of system that you would see in a building of today would incorporate some sort of nanotechnology control system.
You know, I was reading someplace where they're using nanoscale on women's for the wrinkles.
Yeah, yes, I've read that. I forget what the name of the product is, but
Yeah, you know, so it doesn't only apply to infrastructure.
Right.
It applies to personal care products.
right, clothing too.
Clothing.
It has nanotechnology.
Gym
in it.
shoes,
Yeah.
pants, everything is nanotechnology. And here our kids are, what, in 7th, 8th grade. They're going to go out of high school 4 years, high school. I mean, they're going to be in college. They're going to be right up there. Learning about it.
Healthy and beautiful.